Hey guys, it's me, ssasuke125 here, back again with another video. Well, a discussion at least. Today I just want to discuss about the whole recent trend of finding this lost anime called Saki Sanobashi. Ever since Wayne's video discussing the subject, a lot of interest and research has been done as of recently, ever since the last 2 weeks. I myself am quite fascinated on the possibility of the anime's existence, whether it be real or not. That's yet to be decided. However, I'm not here to tell you if it's real or not. I'm just here to give out my own theories personally. Now, based on a lot of research and leads of this so-called lost anime and stuff, I can assume I have multiple theories on this. So one of the theories might be that the anime does exist and that there is an actual lost OVA of it. Well, I mean, for one thing, a lot of 80s and 90s OVAs tend to be hyper violent and a lot of screwed up shit that you wouldn't see in most R-rated animes nowadays. But I mean, the possibilities of it being real, it's pretty likely. Because, a lot of OVAs back in those days sometimes never got re-released on any digital format, so this kind of makes it a lot harder to trace and find them. And another theory that I think is that maybe the anime itself is real, but it's not like an official work, more like a fanime or, an anime project made by a bunch of amateurs that isn't made by a professional company. Now, this could also be a really interesting theory and possibility because, there's a lot of fanime projects or just a lot of fan-made projects in general that either get unfinished or get lost within the bowels of internet time. But hey, that's also one idea. A third idea that is possible is that, well, what if it's like the anime scene itself or the description of the content is real, but maybe some of the stuff is a little exaggerated. Say okay, the Clockman. Remember when the Clockman was a discussion when it came to lost media? Well, they did find it, and it turned out to be real. However, the stories of the Clockman being some crazy-ass monster and stuff, that, and a lot of nightmare fuel-inducing crap, yeah, that wasn't real. It was all exaggerated. I mean, it could possibly be that, or a fourth theory is that maybe it's based on, maybe someone had a nightmare of this, and nightmare from either watching Saw and Higurashi and might have imagined this or something like that. A really good vivid dream or imagination. And I don't know. And even if it, or five, it turns out to be fake. And even if it turns out to be fake, it is still a rather interesting story regardless. Especially with the description and all. Now, what do I think is the most likely of theories? Well, I think it could have existed. Now, I might be wrong about this. Not saying you have to take my word for it, but however, like I said before with one of the first theories about a lot of OVAs being lost in time, it's possible that maybe someone re-uploaded it. Who knows? And that leads to another theory I thought about. What if Saki Sanobashi or Go for a Punch, or at least the name Go for a Punch, isn't really the name of the, anime itself, but the subgroup, the people who subtitled the video? I mean, it would make sense. And also with the name Saki Sanobashi, if you try looking it up on Google and stuff, you get Saki's Bridge. Now this is quite interesting because unlike the Saki Sanobashi Reddit, there was one theory that kind of, took interest in explaining this, or a very good wild mass guessing, take on it. According to one user named Dark Amy, Amy spelled with two Y's, the story is like that Saki was some girl who is bulimic, and her classmate they see her puking up one day and started rumors about her. And then later, so the day before summer vacation, she somehow lures the people that have been, bullying her into to the school bathroom and blocks the doors and forces them to starve as some sort of weird jigsaw revenge story. Which, okay, I'll be honest, that actually does sound like a pretty interesting concept. And, and then since it's summer vacation, the school would be closed and no one finds the bodies until school opens. And pretty much Saki killed those girls. Well, kind of. And to them, it's all water under the bridge, which actually kind of would make a lot of sense for the title, Saki's Bridge. All under the bridge. Water under the bridge, per se. But it does make a little bit of sense, though. Yeah, a lot of these theories on the Saki Sanobashi subreddit are quite interesting, especially with some of the leads and stuff. Now, the picture you're seeing here is a possible lead to the OVA itself. Now, I'm not sure if this is confirmed or not, or whatever, but I decided to use this as the thumbnail for this video, or at least to display something for the rest of the video and stuff. And and a lot of the leads also went into other different animes and stuff, which actually kind of would make sense. Sort of, 80s aesthetic, horror, according to description, but none of them actually did contain the, imagery that was described here. Like, for example, the curse of Kazuo Umezu, which a lot of people thought, okay, this could have been Saki Sanobashi, or at least what the OP at 4chan, who made the original thread on the paranormal side of part of 4chan, said. But, I mean, turns out that's not really the case, although it is still a really interesting OVA, which I would recommend checking out for anyone into horror and other 80s and 90s stuff. But yeah, a lot of interesting leads to other various OVAs and other 80s and 90s projects. One theory says that, it could be the work of the person who made Shoujo Tsubaki, or at least the OVA version. Now, the theory does make a bit of sense. Would make sense, considering a lot of his stuff was made in the 80s and early 90s, and a lot of his stuff contained very disturbing and graphic imagery, and plus a lot of his earlier films were only shown in film festivals, so that really does add to the whole speculation that maybe one of his lost films called Lost Paradise or something could be freaking Saki Sanobashi, but turns out that's not really the case. Although the theories on it does have some level of truth, or does make sense, whether if it was made by the same dude who made the Shoujo Tsubaki anime or not, that's really debatable. Really up. But yeah, I mean, if it gets found, then well, prepare for nightmare fuel. And if it doesn't get found, if it turns out to be fake, then well, so be it, I guess. But it is still an interesting discussions when it comes to this type of stuff, especially with lost media. I mean, if people can find like footage of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure movie that was made in 2007 that never got released on DVD and Blu-ray or any digital format, then I guess maybe there could be hope for someone finding Saki Sanobashi one of these days. Maybe it won't happen soon, but it'll probably happen much later. Like, who knows? Maybe one of the original producers on the OVA might actually upload it on YouTube. Or, I don't know, maybe it might show up somehow. Like, maybe someone will happen to buy, like, a VHS copy of the OVA, if that would be even possible of finding. Well, good luck to anyone who does try to find it. And also, and if it is on VHS or Laserdisc or happen, it was probably going to be really expensive because let's remember another thing about OVAs back in the 80s and 90s. A lot of them tend to be only be rentable or only rent only in like various video stores, so that kind of also makes it a little bit difficult. So yeah, if anyone happens to own like any video stores back in Japan or back or in America who happens to find Saki Sanobashi or at least had it, feel free to comment and at least tell me what your experience was on it. Well, you know. But hey. But a lot of interesting leads overall. Not sure if it's real, but hey. Whatever happens, happens. Well then, this is ssasuke125, and thank you all for listening to me ramble and give my own input on the whole Saki Sanobashi hunt. And I bid you all a good night. Signing out.